Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Roll Up Varsity. I am Connor.
This is Sticks.
Sticks, good to be back, man. Always a pleasure talking high school football recruiting with you, man. But before
No,
we get into all that, how was your weekend, man? I'm sure it was busy. You got a daughter. It's 4th of July, so tell me all the dad jokes you got off this weekend.
I didn't get no dad jokes. I'm just real happy to be back at a stationary location for this podcast. First and foremost, I had to get it active from the car last time. Thank God the car comes with Wi-Fi, so I was able to keep doing it. 4th of July was crazy. Yesterday, obviously I have a daughter, so I have to entertain her most of the time when it comes to the fireworks. So the funny story that happened, I'm with my boy. He's setting the fireworks off. He sets it on top of a previous firework that already went off, which isn't a leveled surface. So after a firework goes off, it ends up facing towards me and shooting off. So I had to run. I took a right thinking I'm safe, and it happened to get into that pocket of where I went. The firework went off right on me. I had to jump a bush, hide, run into the garage, which I posted a video on Twitter if anybody wants to check that out. And that was wild for me.
Living dangerously on the 4th of July, huh, man?
I've been living dangerously. It's nothing new, but this was just a new excitement right here. And yeah. How about you? How was your 4th of July with the fam?
Oh, it was good, man. I mean, 4th of July itself was pretty laid back. We didn't really do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, had to work the next day, so I'm not trying to go get crazy the
Oh,
night before
man.
I got to go into work. But we did. My parents had a barbecue on
Okay.
Saturday, so Dad cooked some brisket, all kind of different stuff, chicken wings, all kind of
Appreciate the
good stuff.
invite, by the
So,
way. Appreciate the invite. Sounds
but yeah,
nice.
man, food was good, drinks, music, obviously fireworks, all that good stuff.
Right.
We had a great time, man. And then the next couple of days, my wife and I just kind of chilled, relaxed, kind of recouped from that Saturday, and just enjoyed ourselves, man. Other than that, nothing too crazy.
I gotta learn from you, man, because me, it doesn't matter if I got work the next day. I'm gonna just have my fun and deal with it later. Deal with the consequences later.
Oh man, I'm well versed in the art of being washed, so I've been doing this for a while.
No, I'm washed too, but man, I don't know. I just don't have limits yet. But anyways, let's get into the top schools. We chopping it up too much. We having too much fun. I'm gonna start with the 5-star Edge. He used to be in Washington, and now he's made his way over to IMG Academy in Florida. He's down to 6 schools. This is Jaden Wayne. He's down to Alabama, Oregon, UGA, LSU, Michigan State, and Miami. He does have a commitment date set for July 9th. The way Miami's been rolling, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up there. They're doing their thing. Miami's been a very impressive off-season team, so it's all about putting it down on the field at this point. We all knew that Cristobal could recruit, so it's really what he ends up doing on the field. That's what'll make or break this Miami team if they become the new Miami. Then we go over to John Walker at Osceola High School in Kissimmee, Florida. He's down to 5 schools, which is Michigan, Miami, Florida, Ohio State, and UCF. He has a commitment date set for the 28th of July, which his teammates Derek LeBron and Jakeem Jackson have those dates set. So they're all going to commit on the same day as teammates. The only school all 3 kids have in common is the University of Florida. I do not personally think all 3 end up there. I think out of the 3, the only one that does end up there is Jakeem Jackson personally. Connor, you want to chime in on that, or what's your thought there?
No, I think you're pretty accurate with that take from
Mm-hmm.
everything that I've been hearing. John Walker's a stud, man. I think in my opinion, he's the best of the 3. But it looks like things are trending towards the Buckeyes in that recruitment.
Yeah, that's where I end up thinking he lands. I don't know if on signing day that's where he is, but I think when it comes to his commitment on the 28th, I think he ends up going out to Ohio State. I got LeBlanc going out to being a Boomer Sooner, and then Jakeem Jackson is the one I think that we end up landing. So we'll move over to the 4-star wide receiver and varsity podcast alum, Tyler Williams. I actually was in a space the other day that he was in. He's still talking crazy. He's funny. He's hilarious. He's cut the schools down to 5, which a lot of people were happy to find out. But if you had tuned into our second episode, you would have found this information out a lot earlier. He's down to Clemson, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, UG, and South Carolina, and he set a commitment date finally for the September 27th. And then we're going to move over to the 5-star number 1 D lineman, David Hicks. He's in Cathy, Texas. He's down to 7 schools with Alabama, Miami, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, and Texas A&M. Wouldn't be surprised if he ended up being a Texas kid and going to college out there at Texas or Texas A&M. Especially we consistently talk about how good they are with their oil. So I wouldn't be surprised. And you don't let a kid like that leave the state even before the NIL. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to go over to the 4-star number 6 cornerback in the nation, Malik Muhammad. He's in South Oak Cliff High School. That's also in Texas. He's down to 3 schools, 3 powerhouse schools at that, with Texas, Alabama, and Texas A&M. Again, my comment on the last kid remains the same on this. I don't think he ends up leaving the state. And then over to 4-star edge, Rico Walker. He's in Hickory, North Carolina. He's down to 5 schools, cutting the list down to Tennessee, Auburn, Maryland, North Carolina, and Florida. List getting long again. Back-to-back weeks. Connor, chime in, help me out.
Absolutely, man. Like you said, list is getting long, but I'd like to kind of point out and stress a little bit your point about Tyler Williams. If you had listened to our second episode, that top 5 would come as no surprise to you. He kind of highlighted that. If you haven't listened to that episode and you're listening now, go back. Tyler was a great interview, gave us a lot of great information, including those top 5 schools. But we'll move on to 4-star offensive tackle Tyree Adams from St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's down to 4 schools, obviously in-state LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, and Georgia. 4-star linebacker Blake Nicholson from Manteca, California is down to 3 schools, in-state UCLA, Oregon, and Florida State. 4-star athlete Collins, and I am going to butcher this last name, Achimpong from Santa Margarita Catholic High School in California is down to 4 schools.
I'm so happy you got that side of the list, man.
His top 4 are Michigan, Miami, UCLA, and LSU. 4-star cornerback Braden Marshall from Lake Mary, Florida, here just outside of Orlando. Homegrown talent in Central Florida is down to 5 schools with Nebraska, Pittsburgh, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and UCF rounding that out. And then typically don't like to go into kids with top 10s or anything like that, but I had to mention Jordan Hall, mainly because his graphic, if you haven't seen it, go on Twitter, see his graphic. One of the coolest top schools graphics I've ever seen. It is a Dragon Ball Z themed graphic where each school is a different Dragon Ball. I thought that was pretty creative, pretty unique. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that's one of the best graphics I've ever seen. I'm also a Dragon Ball Z fan, so
yeah,
seeing that was
grew
crazy.
up watching that stuff, man. So to see that was really cool to see the creativity that he brought to his top 10.
I've never seen nothing like it.
But those schools are Oregon, LSU, Miami, Auburn, South Carolina, USC, Ohio State, FSU, Georgia, and Florida. Then we're going to move over to 3-star wide receiver Lamar Seymour from Miami Central High School. He's down to 5 schools, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Miami, Auburn, and UCF. Seymour is a former Miami commit, and he's the younger brother of current Miami offensive lineman Lawrence Seymour. So that family connection could have him recommitting to the Canes. I know UCF's pushing really hard for him right now, so I think they could possibly end up there. But we'll just have to tune in and see when he cuts down that list a little bit more. Then we're going to get to some commitments. But before we do that, obviously want to shout out our sponsor, Sativadol. So this episode of Roll Up Varsity is brought to you by Sativadol. Sativadol is a veteran-owned company that offers 3 different products, CBD soft gels for you and your pets. I was able to use that CBD soft gel for my puppy this week. Did wonders for the fireworks. She was real relaxed, real calm. And then obviously they have a roll-on for pain relief. The soft gels come from a trusted source that manages the product from seed to sell and is often recommended by medical professionals as a part of your regular health and wellness routine. The roll-on is formulated by pharmacists for quick, effective relief and also has menthol for extra cooling. So you guys want to support the podcast, please go check out sativadol.com for these products. Use promo code VARSITY25 for 25% off your order. Again, that's sativadol.com. Please show love to the podcast. Please show love to Sativadol and use promo code varsity25 on your order.
Yeah, y'all show love, man. Show that real support. Varsity 25, 25% off. And then with your last comment on Lamar, I agree like with you when it comes down to Miami, UCF, low key. I think those are the last two that's going to come down to. He has a quarterback now in Miami, so wouldn't be surprised there. But UCF is pushing hard, and they have a great head coach leading them. So
and
that's
UCF's got a
definitely
quarterback
possibility.
committed. UCF's got a quarterback committed that's in South Florida as well, and Dylan Risk goes to Cardinal Gibbons High School. Maybe they've got a connection there. So I think it comes down to the two in-state schools. I know UCF would be able to get a big-time prospect. They haven't really had Miami Central ties in the past, so to see them get a kid like that would be big for the Knights.
Yeah, start that pipeline over there. And like I said, they have the head coach to do it too. So it's not a low key name. It's a pretty big name over there at UCF. And then let's get into our commitments. Let's get into Miami. Miami continues to stay hot on the trail. Like I mentioned earlier, they end up landing the number one offensive tackle in the nation. Francis, you helped me out last time. Do it again for me, Connor.
I believe it's pronounced Maui Goa.
Francis Mauigoa, the number 2 tight end, also decided to take his talents over to South Beach like LeBron and Riley Williams. And he ends up bringing his talents out there. And then following him is the number 12 athlete, Robert Stanford, all within this last week, bringing their class into the top 10. Sinan, number 8. Again, a big part of this, obviously, QBs hold a huge domino. So landing somebody like Rashada really help these kids speed up their decision. And I also think playing on the field is going to be a big thing of keeping this class together. More than likely, I don't think kids flip out of this class because they're going to buy into the building from there, but that's definitely something to look at. And Ohio State's been hot, and this is years. This is not just this year, but they're continuing to stay hot. They've added 2 more 4-star prospects to their number 2 ranked class, and Calvin Simpson, Hunt, and then he's from Texas, and then Jermaine Matthews from the nearby Cincinnati, Ohio. No surprise there. If they want a kid from Ohio in your Ohio State, that's where you're going to end up going. And then Auburn landed 2 4-star prospects in Jeremiah Cobb out of Montgomery Catholic in Alabama. He committed to the Tigers over another Tiger school in Clemson in Tennessee. Clemson is not plural, by the way.
There's multiple Clemsons, Curtis.
Right, the Clemsons, the Fighting Clemsons. The Fighting Dabos are the Clemsons. And then wide receiver Carmelo English in Central High School for Phoenix City, Alabama, I believe it is. And then we're going to go over to LSU. They added 4 commitments in the last week with 4 of them being 4-stars. They had the edge, Jackson Howard, Joshua Mickens, and Deshaun Womack, and then Deron Reed. They all decided to take their talents over to LSU within this last week. LSU's coaching change obviously didn't slow down them in recruiting. And then somebody we actually talked about on the podcast last week, Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman, had the number 1 class, and they're continuing to hold that number 1 ranking. They're a problem on the trail. They've landed 3 more 4-star commitments in the top 100. And you had cornerback Christian Gray go over there. You had cornerback Micah Bell go over there. And then wide receiver Rico Flores ended up going over to Notre Dame. And then, like I said, it's just adding to the number 1 stacked class that they already have. Marcus Freeman showing he could hang with the big dogs and recruit on that trail. Now we're going to go over to the 5-star number 2 offensive tackle, Caden Proctor. He's decided to commit to Iowa over Alabama. Proctor already had 40 offers coming from all over the country, and that's never really a surprise with Bama. So Bama's doing what Bama does, keeps an offensive tackle there. And then 4-star QB Avery Johnson actually committed today, I believe, to Kansas State. He was the number 1 player in the state of Kansas, so he's decided to stay home and rep the hometown team. Kids like that, you got to give them a lot of credit, not trying to go to the biggest schools, stay home, homegrown, and build from the crib. He competed and was selected as a part of the final Elite 11 quarterbacks in the country, so he ends up doing that and staying home, so that's a huge get for them over there. Then the 4-star wide receiver, Omarion Miller, I'm guessing his parents was an Omarion fan, which if y'all watched the verses recently, he ended up getting washed by Mario. Big surprise, but he's decided. So he's not losing. Omarion's winning. Omarion Miller commits to Nebraska. He's a top 100 player and a former LSU commit. So they've ended up gaining 4 commitments this last week or 3 commitments this last week, but they lost this one when he backed off his pledge in May and decided to go over into Nebraska. Then let's move over on to Kelsey Howard out of Spring Valley High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's committed to Oregon State. Howard's a number three player in the state of Nevada. He's decided to go over to Oregon State. And then last but not least, from my part of the list, a Miami kid, Daniel Harris. He's decided to commit to UGA over Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. UGA's been hot on the trail for seasons now, so it's no surprise here. And then fighting off people like Ohio State and Penn State, Michigan's not easy, but they continue to succeed on the trail. Connor, help me out with the rest of the list.
Yeah, first before I get moving on, I just want to say Scott Frost has done a pretty good job. While the on-field results haven't been what Nebraska fans have wanted, he's definitely had no shortage of talent coming in. He's recruited really well at Nebraska, and then pretty interesting to see Oregon State. They don't often land blue chip prospects. They've kind of fallen down a little bit over the last few years, but they landed a big one in Kelsey Howard, pulling him from the state of Nevada, coming over to Oregon State. Nice pickup for the Beavers over there. But yeah, we'll move on to with the rest of the list. You've got 4-star athlete Micah Teese from Booker T. Washington in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He committed to Arkansas. Arkansas has slowly put together a really nice recruiting class thus far, headlined obviously by their quarterback, Malachi Singleton, who's from Georgia. Was an Elite 11 finalist as well this year. He's done a phenomenal job recruiting for them, and they're building a solid class around him. And then 4-star defensive lineman TJ Searcy. Curtis, I stole your joke this week when Florida had early fireworks on the 4th of July.
I gave you the green light.
You did.
You can use that with us.
I appreciate you allowing me to do that, man. But
nah, you got it. Yeah, you're a dog dad, so you got it.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, man. So he committed about 10:30 a.m. On the 4th of July over a Final Four that included Tennessee, Clemson, and South Carolina. 4-star running back Dontavius Braswell from Washington County High School in Sattersville, Georgia, committed to South Carolina. He had over 20 additional offers, so no shortage of offers for that young man. And South Carolina is another school that's slowly put together a really nice class, landing blue chip linebacker Grayson Howard a couple weeks ago. They're really doing well. They're one of the top schools for varsity alum Trayon Webb, who will be making his commitment within about a week or so. So they're definitely a school to watch. Beamer's done a fantastic job recruiting over there and has really got their program headed in the right direction. Then we'll move over to 4-star offensive tackle Isaiah Robinson from Lamar High School in Arlington, Texas. He committed to Baylor. He had almost 30 offers on the table. Baylor did a great job keeping that kid home. Texas has recruited offensive line the last 2 cycles at a really high level. So for Baylor to be able to keep a blue chip offensive line prospect in the state of Texas and not going to the Longhorns or the Aggies is a big pickup for them. And then 4-star safety Damon Fagan. This one really surprised me. I've seen Damon Fagan play in person multiple times. Really an outstanding safety prospect, really rangy, long, athletic kid, committed to NC State. Had offers from Ohio State, had offers across the country. So NC State really must have done a great job recruiting the young man to get him to commit there. Really nice pickup for the Wolfpack there, because I definitely thought he would be headed to NC State's a Power 5 program, but I definitely thought he would be headed to a bigger program than NC State. And then we spoke about this young man last week, 4-star safety King Mack from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale. He committed to Penn State. We told you guys last week Mack was down to Penn State and Michigan State, a Florida boy that's not afraid to go up and play in the cold. But Mack had a very nice offer list, and St. Thomas Aquinas never has a shortage of big-time players. He decided to commit and join James Franklin up in Happy Valley. And then 4-star linebacker Samaj Bridgman from Emotep Institute in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, committed to Michigan over more than 30 other offers. Texas, again, stays hot on the trail. They added another commit in the last week in four-star defensive lineman Sadir Mitchell from Bergen Catholic, powerhouse program in the state of New Jersey. They always have big-time prospects, and Texas got a young man from the Northeast to go all the way, almost halfway across the country, and play for the Longhorns. Once again, I talked about South Carolina. They added another prospect in four-star linebacker Jaden Robinson from Columbia High School in Lake City. Again, Beamer's doing a fantastic job recruiting out there at South Carolina, really building a solid culture. Oklahoma had a couple of three-star linebackers commit to them this week as well. First one was Samuel Omasigo from Crandall, Texas, who chose the Sooners over Florida. And then the second one was Phil Picciotti, who chose Oklahoma over more than 20 other offers. Cedric Irvin Jr., a three-star running back from South Florida, committed to Stanford. Irvin Jr. was a former Notre Dame commit. Notre Dame lost him early in the process. I think when he decommitted, he was a four-star prospect. Obviously, Notre Dame hasn't missed a beat. But let's talk about the kid's academics to be able to commit to Notre Dame and then flip his commitment, not immediately, but a couple months down the line, and announce to Stanford. So you have to have quite the academic prowess to be recruited by those programs. So congratulations to the young man on his commitment to Stanford. And then Alabama made some noise this week by flipping three-star interior offensive lineman Ryquez McElderry from Anniston, Alabama. He is an in-state kid, but they flipped his commitment from Georgia. That's Nick Saban just kind of showing his protege Kirby Smart, hey, listen, I can get what I want when I want it. So I think that's a fantastic flip. I think he's a prospect that'll end up being a four-star before the cycle's all finished. Obviously, he'll probably be a four-star now because he's committed to Alabama. There's a noticeable Bama bump in the rankings every year. But yeah, he's definitely a very good offensive line prospect.
Yeah, definitely believe in that Bama bump. But personally, with him, I do think he's somebody who's underrated and deserves a bump. He's way more talented than what his ranking says, and that's why he's been able to commit to both UGA and Alabama, two prestigious programs.
Definitely agree with you there, Curtis. And then we're going to move over to the 2024 class. A couple of notable prospects pulled their name off the recruiting market, or quote unquote off the recruiting market. We'll see how the things go. There's still a long way until these kids sign on the dotted line. But five-star edge Jonathan Eccles goes to IMG Academy, but is originally from Franklin, Georgia. He committed to Tennessee. Young man's only a sophomore and already had over 30 offers, including from a who's who of across the country. Tennessee has done a solid job recruiting. Obviously, they landed Nico Iamaleava from out in California. I'm trying to show off these last names, man. I'm trying to get these things moving. But yeah, so they
You definitely been on the road today with the last names. You definitely have the tougher part of the list when it comes to last names.
The pronunciations felt good today, man. I'm just going with it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
rolling.
so Tennessee has recruited well since Heupel's gotten there, and obviously they have five-star quarterback in Nico committed. But we'll see how things go on the field. There's a long way to go, like I said, before these kids commit. So you're looking at a prospect that won't realistically sign for probably another 18 months. Long way to go. A lot of big time schools are going to be after him. So that recruitment is far from over. And then a big one for the Hurricanes to get their 2024 class rolling. Antoine Jackson from Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, flips his commitment from Georgia to Miami. Jackson is a top 100 player in the 2024 class, a big time flip for Mario Cristobal to kind of show the college football world that, hey, yeah, we've landed a couple of these kids in Francis Mauigoa, in Jaden Rashada, but we can also do it at the 2024 class and flip them from the nation's elite in flipping Antoine Jackson from University of Georgia.
Which for me personally, as a 2024 kid, I wouldn't commit to a new coaching staff until I see what they can do on the field, and then also with their own class that they brought in. But to each its own, and like I said, committing early, it's never for sure till you sign on to that dotted line. So we'll see how that goes. And then also with Nico, How solid do you think Nico is to Tennessee?
That's a good question, man. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation over the last couple weeks, maybe month, that maybe things aren't going too well. Trouble in paradise up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Maybe the NIL deal that he was reportedly offered is not as lucrative or not as enticing as it may have seemed at the very beginning. For those of you that aren't familiar, the rumor going around is that five-star quarterback Nico Iamaleava agreed to an $8 million NIL deal
Cap.
with Tennessee. So obviously take those numbers with a grain of salt, guys. Obviously, the NIL lawyer for Jaden Rashada said $9.5 million from Miami, $11
Cap.
million from Florida.
Cap.
As you can hear Curtis in the background, he's saying that's all cap. Those numbers are obviously going to be very inflated for that lawyer's purposes as a sales pitch. So, whatever his NIL deal is, I would assume it is much less than $8 million. But to be honest with you, as a quarterback like Nico, I think he's really good fit for what Josh Heupel does at Tennessee. But you've got a California kid making a transition to Knoxville, Tennessee. Um, that's a huge culture shock, I'm sure. It's a big difference. Obviously, he's visited before, but it's going to be way different than when you're having the red carpet rolled out for you when you get on campus and you just have to ingrain in that culture and in that regional life of how these guys live. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see Nico flip, but it also wouldn't surprise me to see him stay committed. I think he's a good fit for Tennessee's offense, and if he does stay committed, I think he'll do really well, and I think he'll start as a freshman. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see him staying committed, but I also, like you said, wouldn't be surprised if he ends up flipping, going somewhere else. This NIL thing is new, so it's always up to, hey, can you prove that this is actually what I'm just gonna get? So let's see how it ends up going.
All right, so exciting news, guys. We've got a. Oh, is he Cam? Is he out of here? I'm sorry. Oh, Sharif's in here. Let me restart it. Hold on. 2719. And then Cam, just mark when we get started here, when I introduce him, it's going to be at like 2750. And now that we've gotten through all of that, we've got an exciting visitor to join us on the podcast here today. Four-star cornerback from Jacksonville, Bartram Trail High School, recent Florida Gators commit, Sharif Denson. Sharif, thank you for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My pleasure. What's going on, y'all?
That boy got that dog in him.
Already knowing. Already knowing.
So, Sharif, obviously your recruiting is kind of taking a backseat now. You've made a decision to commit to the University of Florida. You made that decision to the surprise of a lot of people. I know you were taking visits. You had gone to Texas A&M. You'd gone to several other schools. Just kind of tell us what ultimately led to your decision to commit to Florida.
So, when I had went back the last time, it was for a 7-on event. And then, like, during the event, though, like, PT and C-Ray, they was, like, basically watching, like, every play of every game. So, like, they was really real life tuned in. Like, I could tell, like, they wasn't just faking. Like, they was really trying to see if I was really, like, feel me? And then at the same time, I was already, like, heavily messing with Florida with the old staff. And then when they came, it was like, okay, who are these guys? And then they happened to be better than the old staff, so it was just a plus to me. And then, I mean, just staying home, close to the family, that was the goal. So, yeah.
And then you're saying that they were better than the old staff. What made you come to that conclusion with them being above the old staff?
Just like the standard that Napier came in and brought to the system, to the University of Florida. Like, I was talking with Trevez, he a former player. He said, like, just the development that they made from now, even from like the whole time this with the old staff is just much better. Like they just he just keep preaching to me that like they're really on the rise, and then at the same time like just with the addition of Corey Raymond, like I mean, there's no better DB coach than that for real, for real.
So Curtis kind of alluded to it, man. But when you first came on and said you got that dog in you, you said the last time you were at Florida before you made your announcement was at a 7-on-7 tournament, and I mean I'm on social media all the time, so I saw the video of you and what's the wide receiver that's going to be going to Florida State, Goldie Lawrence. You guys were kind of jawing back and forth a little bit on social media and in person at the 7-on-7 tournament. You guys are going to be going back and forth at each other. Tell me when you get into the game, whether it be 7-on-7 for SFE or your high school team or on Friday nights, what kind of mentality do you walk in with, knowing that you have to shut down the opposing team's best receiver?
So like every game, like every snap, all of that stuff, I gotta be locked in. It don't matter like what the wide receiver doing. It don't matter what kind of trash he talking to me. It don't matter none of that, because at the end of the day, if my technique not right, because at corner, like you have to be 100% correct and like right 100% of the time, or you that one play that you have one off step, you feel me? That's a touchdown. So I just pride myself on locking in and making sure that I'm going to talk to whoever the opposition is. I'm going to talk to them now. I'm going to make sure they feel me. They know who I am. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that affect like what's really in my head and what I'm thinking throughout the play. You feel me?
No, that's for sure. And exactly what you're saying. The wide receiver knows the route that they're running. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to be 100% correct in guessing that route and sitting there. But what made you low boy him like that? I want to know. I want to know the story behind it. Talk to me.
All right. So like, damn, we played them boys. So it was like couple plays in. I'm dry. Masai ain't got no plays. Like we dead over there. So then bam, it was like play 4 or something. Like he scored a touchdown, but obviously it wasn't on my side. Like, come on. So then bam, he come to my side. I'm on their sideline because like I'm just like that. That's just the side that I'm on for like the games and stuff. But like the other corners can't really handle that. So then I'd be over there, like the boys talking to me. They was trying to hype Goldie up, all that. I was in man pretty much the whole time on that side with him. He didn't get not 1 yard of separation. And he talking to me stupid, like dead in my face, telling me, oh, we suck. Oh, you suck. Stuff like this. Like, and I'm telling him, like, bro, none of that matters right now. This is a one-on-one matchup. Now catch this ball. Like, let's go. So then he's still talking all this noise, whatever. So then bam, it's like the last play, or like, and then the sideline really going dumb. They're like looking at the QB like, oh yeah. And then Goldie like signal to the QB. So I'm like, say that, let's do it. So I was playing inside tech the whole time, cause like I was just, you feel me, that's what I was playing. But I know that they was trying to go vert on me because he a bigger wide receiver and that junk is dead anyways. I'm too smart. So then bam, I switched to outside tech. Like I play outside leverage off the line, and then basically the go route was dead because like I made him go inside, and like the window for the quarterback to throw the ball it was way off. So like he sucks. I ain't gonna lie. Like that's why FSU got him. Like UF don't want him because he's not SEC good.
Hey, I was talking to Connor last week about that dog, and you just coming on here just showing that for sure. You got the most confidence of anybody that's been on.
Yo, I love the confidence, bro. I love the confidence because I've seen, Sharif, I've seen you play in person, man. I've talked to you several times when you were playing with SFE and stuff like that. And I've never seen you lack for confidence, bro. I love it. I love the reel that we get right now. But
I
to
can't
kind of go,
get a real interview off. I can't.
Curtis can't even contain himself right now.
I can't get a real interview going right now.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Sharif, to kind of you pride yourself on your technique. Obviously, you're not in a day right now where teams and schools are so infatuated with over 6 foot corners. You are, in my opinion, one of, if not the best technical corner in the country. And I've said that on multiple platforms. What is it that you do? Yeah, of course, bro. Like I said, I've had the opportunity to see you in person multiple times. Always came away impressed, dating back to when you were playing with Pro Impact 7-on-7. Um, so take us through how you get to that level, because I know you work out all the time, whether it be in the weight room, whether it be with a DB coach or a personal trainer. What is your training regimen look like to be able to get to where you're at?
So before like this year, before going into like the 7-on season and like just like spring football and all that stuff, I used to be going so it'd be like every Tuesday, every Saturday. So I'll be out there with my DB coach Michael Cornegie. He used to play at FSU, but he a DB coach now. So he be like at this little set spot. It's like a little indoor facility. You go in there, you just get whatever work in. But I'll be working with him, and then it's just like anything I need. So I'll be like, hey man, I feel like my press could be better. Bam, he gave me a multitude of press drills and ways to keep my feet. Like, you feel me? Like he got all the answers for the questions that I'm asking, and I'm gonna ask questions because like I'm trying to find the answers to all the problems that the wide receiver was trying to give me. So like I feel like my technique is just so good, and just like it's gonna continue to get better because like I really care about being good. Like I really care about like all the little stuff that it take to be good. Like all them boys don't know that. Like the ones who really stay true to their technique and really get that muscle memory technique down, them boys don't get beat because like they so locked in on their technique. Like for real.
And it's true what Connor said. He not lying when he talks real highly of your technique and where he puts you on that board. And for us here on this podcast, we don't really go by rankings. We have our own rankings that we think of and go by. For me personally as well, it's in the state of Florida. I like you and Cormani up there as the top corners in the nation. So speaking of other kids that play your position, are you in now that you're committed? Are you in their ear to come over here? Who you talking to? What are you thinking?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and that's love, by the way, man. Thank y'all. I'm just gonna just know I'm gonna put the work in and just try to prove to everybody that I'm really that guy. But nah, hey, I'm Cormani, me and him cool. We be talking like that, but I'm definitely gonna try to get him to Florida, man, cause you feel me? We trying to build that DBU back, and like what two better starters than me and him are right off the bat. So I'm gonna keep pushing at him, keep seeing what I could do with him. But yeah, whatever Coach Tony, whatever DBs he want, I'ma just tap in on them boys' phone, be hitting them boys on Instagram, whatever I can do to get them at you feel me, UF.
So regardless of what school it is, obviously we know you're committed to Florida, so you have a good relationship with those coaches, with Coach Raymond, with Coach Tony. Now, I remember talking to you at a 7-on-7 tournament earlier this year, just after the new staff had been hired, and you were I don't want to say a little upset, but you were a little surprised that you hadn't heard from like Coach Raymond, Coach Napier, Coach Tony at that point. Obviously, that took a complete 180. They did a great job recruiting you from that point. But what coaches, regardless of what school it is, would you say you had the best relationship with throughout the recruiting process, and are what you would call some of the best recruiters in the country?
Oh yeah, A&M for sure. Them boys, it's like it's a reason that they get all them 5 stars. It's a reason why they so loaded. Like them boys don't even be paying them boys like that. They real life just you feel me, just some family dudes out there. They just real life love ball and love to see their guys doing great. You see what I'm saying? And like you can't beat that for real. Like coming out of high school, you just want to be surrounded with like people who want to see you do the best. So like I feel like that's what they was really doing there. And like those dudes are young. They got some young dudes around you, but they also got like some old heads that's gonna be the vets in the room, like Cromartie and Durkin. So they got a good little thing going on over there. It was hard to tell them boys no.
That's crazy that you said that about A&M. A lot of people been speculating otherwise. So you're actually the first person on this podcast to come in and defend that it's just based off of relationships and not coming off of just NIL deals. So would you say that was the number 2 school for you?
Yeah, most def. There was definitely 2, and then Miami was a close 3. They was right behind them boys, but it just Miami came in like at the end of, and I was already kind of like real close with Florida, and then A&M was already in my ear too, so like it was just a little late to the party. But if they slid like when UF slid though, I don't know, it would be tough. But they did what they did, so it's whatever.
So saying that Miami came a little late, but what is it that Coach Cristobal and his staff are doing well? That's getting them. Obviously, they're recruiting really well right now. Also, so what are they doing to make you feel like you were a priority for the small amount of time that they recruited you, and then what are they doing right for every other kid as well?
Man, I mean, like, just the level that Coach Cristobal messed with me. Like, this man got group chat with my mom, my dad. He be texting that joint every day. Still, I'm committed. Still be texting me like, don't forget about us. We still want you. All that stuff. Like, he not gonna let you go until signing day. He don't give up. Like, for real, that's what them boys don't do. And Coach a day, he gonna be in your ear too. He be FaceTime me, stuff like that. Like, we still got a good connection with them though. But the reason that they get so many guys, just like, first off, like, you can't beat Miami. Like, living in Miami, it's just too gas. And then, like, at the same time, like, them coaches and stuff, like, they gonna really develop you though. Like I said, they got kind of an A&M staff where some young guys in there like Coach a Day, but it's also some old heads like Charlie Strong, like Coach Cristobal, who really know how to win with a team. So like staffs like that, I feel like are the best at recruiting because they can like really recruit your family as well as you too.
I definitely feel that about Miami. That's where I'm at right now. Actually, I'm chilling down here. Just one thing for me personally, when it comes to Miami, like they have big sports teams. I said this on other podcasts. So there's like the Heat, there's the Dolphins, stuff like that. So when you go there as a college football player, like you could be a huge football player, but it's not. You don't get that starstruck feeling. And then when you go over to some place like Gainesville, you are the guy. You know what I'm saying? Where you're the superstar because they don't got that other team
Yeah,
holding it down with the
yeah,
athletes.
yeah. I got you. Yeah, you right. You right. It's everybody else. It's all them other names in Miami too. So he ain't big dog.
So we can't go a podcast with a Florida commit without talking about Coach Raymond. Coach Raymond is widely considered the best defensive backs coach in the country. What was his message to you when he was recruiting you? Obviously, you played DB, so you're going to be tutored by Coach Raymond and Coach Tony, who are two of the best in the business. What was Coach Raymond specifically his message to you about what he liked about your game and how he sees you fitting in at Florida?
So when it really came to like breaking down my game and seeing like what he wanted me to like, what my projection was inside their system, that was more of like PT's role. And then like when I was with C Ray, it was just like we was in the room. He was like um clicking through plays, and then he would be like showing me different techniques from like press or like I would be asking him questions and I'll be writing notes down. So it wasn't too much of like looking into me, but it was just really him like doing what a mastermind DB coach is gonna do and really just sit you down and teach you step by step from the ground up, like how really to play DB and how to play the cornerback position. So like that's what I really like about Corey Raymond. Like he gonna go through every little detail and make sure that you know like how to play every aspect of the corner position. That's what I'm most excited about. Just to go under him and learn, just put on my listening cap for real, just grind.
So now that you're locked down to the University of Florida, are you somebody that doesn't plan on taking visits elsewhere now, or are you still going to keep taking visits?
I ain't really thought about it for real, cause I ain't took no OVs yet. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna probably take one that UF and then maybe Miami, maybe A&M. I don't know. I gotta see, but I don't know. I feel like I'm good. I'm locked in. I'm where I'm supposed to be. So like, if something happen, then something happen. You feel me? But I'm cool where I'm at.
Yeah, you seem like the type, you know what I'm saying, to stand on your word for sure.
Most def. Most def.
So you said growing up, you kind of watched Florida. You really messed with the last staff. Obviously, the new staff got you to commit there. I've talked to you before. You said Florida was a school that you kind of grew up liking. Obviously, your parents went to Florida. Did that play any kind of factor in your final decision, or were your parents just like, "Hey, listen, make the best decision for you, and we'll support you"?
Nah, so them going and like me being a fan, that like affected me, but like it didn't affect them. So like they weren't like, "Oh, Sharif, you better go to Florida," because like that's where we went. That's the best spot. My mom actually wanted me to go to A&M, so like just so I could be outside of Florida. Cause like she said I need to travel and get away from Florida. I don't know, but yeah. So like I don't know. It was cool. It was great, but yeah.
So that's crazy. Went against Mom Dukes and decided to stay home. So how hard was that? Telling Mom Dukes, "Hey, I'm gonna stay here," or was she guiding you to the decision? She happy with your decision? How does that go?
Yeah. So like she was at first she was like, oh yeah, I really like A&M. But then I was telling her just about how actually good Florida is because she only been there one time with the new staff. So then she was just like, okay. So she kind of understood why, and she supported me wherever I go, regardless.
So obviously, Sharif, you wear number 7 in high school. There's a big reason behind why you wear that number. I know you're probably going to want to wear that number in college as well. Um, for those that aren't familiar with why you wear that number and the story behind it, just kind of share some of that with everybody that's listening and give us a little background.
Yeah. So basically, my friend Trent Fort, um, we grew up together. Like his mom and my mom, they was like real cool in college. Like we played MAA together. Like we played Pop Warner together. Like we played football. Like all the way until like middle school, to where like I was playing with my middle school team. But before that, like all them years, I was playing with him. So we was just playing MAA, like Pop Warner, like young boy tackle football. And then like he went to his high school because he stayed in like Callahan, so he went to West Nassau. So we still kept in contact though. Like I'll play the game with him. Like we'll be on PS4. Like sometimes he'll come over like from the weekend, just stay the weekend because he lived far. But like we was tight like that. We just grew up together. And then like it was like recently, like a couple years ago, probably 2 3 years ago, he had got shot, and then he died. I don't even know. I really don't even know the situation. I ain't even look into it like that because I don't even want to. Like, but just he was in the wrong like place at the wrong time with the wrong people, and then yeah, it just went down like that. But I told his mom like I made a promise like I'm gonna make it for him, and like I'm gonna like I ain't gonna never let him get like forgotten. Like nobody gonna forget about Trent. So I'm gonna keep that 7 on me so people know like he's still with me and I'm playing for him, and it's gonna give me motivation for me. Like I can't even give up this rep. I can't even just let these boys see I'm tired right quick, because Trent wouldn't even want to see me doing like that. Feel me?
And that's real. I done lost people plenty of times, you know what I'm saying? So you don't gotta get into like anything that happened, you know what I'm saying, into the details. But what you made that promise is the realest thing that you could do. Just hold it down and make his memory live on. And the other thing is like he go from being with you sometimes to now he's looking over with you, being with you all the time. So just know that and keep your head up.
You right. You right. Appreciate that.
Sharif, man, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for such a long time, answering all these questions. For those that aren't familiar with who you are, where to follow you, just shout out your social media real quick for those that are listening to the podcast. And then we like to do something here on the pod where we like to give you guys the opportunity to provide us with a closeout song. So whatever you're listening to, that you really kind of music you like right now, just give us a song and we'll close out the interview with that.
All right. So wait, what was the first part?
Oh, just shout out your social media
Oh
and tell
yeah.
everybody where they can follow you on Twitter,
Yeah.
And tell him how
Instagram,
you
what
got
have
that
you.
dog in you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sir. My Instagram, Sharif Denson, together, like no spaces. Same as my Twitter, and then that's really what I be on for real. But yeah, let me see. What's the song right now? Oh yeah,
Don't fold. Don't fold.
keep dissing number 2 with Dirk in it. And,
What you know about real
Real
Boston, man?
Boston.
What you know? What
Yeah,
you come
yeah.
on.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. That remix go hard. I knew it before it popped out with Dirk. I know all them
Oh,
real
for real?
Boston before he blew. Yeah, when he had like 13K followers.
Most down.
Now he up. Now he up.
Yeah, he up. That boy lit with that, for real.
For sure. But yeah, man, we'll close it out with that. And Sharif, like I said, man, we really appreciate you joining us tonight and giving us a little bit of insight into your recruiting process, into your high school football process, and just chopping it up with us, man. We appreciate it.
Of course. I'm always down. Let me know.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna tap in. I got you on Twitter. I gotta tap into your gram, so we'll
Bet.
chop it up on there.
Bet, fam.
For sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right, Curtis, man, great interview. Sharif's
Yes,
a great kid, man.
Keep this, and that's my favorite song right now. That's crazy.
Oh,
that you
is
said
it?
That
All
is
right,
my number one favorite song
so
right now.
he's closing us out with your favorite song. I like it.
Hell yeah! I said don't fold that he picked my favorite. It's crazy.
That's great, man. But yeah, man, like I've told you multiple times personally, Sharif's a great kid, man. Awesome kid to talk to. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about when I say Sharif is one of, if not the best technical corner in the country, all you have to do is watch one clip, go to his social media account. He just shouted it out at Sharif Denson, and he's got a picture or a video of him at Texas A&M's camp in a one-on-one rep, and you will see textbook cornerback play. Kid's a freaking stud, man. Florida got an absolute baller, and really a great kid on top of being a great football player.
Yeah, and here at varsity, like I said to him, we got our own ranking system. I mean, it's nothing released, but it's unspoken. We know who we got up there. It could be a 3-star, just like Andy Jean. Andy Jean is one of the most underrated wide receivers. He jumped up and became a 4-star, but when we first mentioned him, he was a 3-star. Look at him rise in the rankings, and I think he should continue rising. That boy is one of the best players, wide receivers in Florida. So, I mean, that's what we like to do on this show. Give kids with a no name or below rankings and stating our opinion on them, and then bringing them on here, getting you guys to have the chill, relaxed version. Like these interviews that we give you here, it's they're calm in their element, talking how they want to talk. So
as
that's
you
what
could
you
tell
get at
by the way
varsity.
Sharif was talking today, man. He was
I
not
never
scared.
laughed that hard. I couldn't keep going. I had to.
Man,
Thank God. Yeah.
we lost Curtis for about 3 or 4 minutes of that interview just because Sharif was making him laugh.
I couldn't keep it serious.
But that's what we aim for, man. We
For
aim for
sure.
those real answers. We want these kids to feel comfortable.
Yep.
And we're getting more comfortable with it now. So it's awesome, man. I enjoy doing
that boy
this.
not SEC. That's what the Gators don't want him. He not SEC good.
Hey, I think that's got to be our title,
God.
Curtis. He not SEC good.
He's not SEC good. That's the title right
but
there.
Absolutely, man. Like again, man, awesome stuff. Looking forward to getting back to this next week with another great.
But I love doing this with y'all, man.
This is awesome, man. And Sharif definitely with one of the greatest sound bites we've ever had.
Oh yeah.
I'm on this podcast. So
sure.
with that being said, close it out. We're gonna close it out with Keep Dissing 2, Real Boston Richie featuring Lil Durk. Thanks to Sharif Denson. This is Varsity.
This is Varsity.
Signing off.